What is happening, folks? Welcome to episode 88 of The Fun Waste of Time, where movie, TV, video game, and home theater enthusiasts talk shop about these fantastic hobbies, which just so happens to be our favorite pastimes. For those who don't know, I am Taurus, and on this episode of the show, it is Christmas in June, guys.
Yes, sir.
Oh my gosh, I love this time of year. What that means is all of the major video game publishers and platforms are holding their big summer game showcases featuring all the new and exciting video games coming to their platforms over the next year. And we're going to talk all about it, at least the ones that we're excited to learn more about and eventually get our hands on to play. We're also going to start the discussion with the games that we've been playing over the last few months. But before we get into all of that, let's check in with our other host this episode, JD. What is going on, JD?
Oh, yes, Christmas. It's over right now, but it was a good week. You know, we spent a decent amount of time at each other's houses looking at all those amazing videos that came out. So I'm excited.
It was a fantastic time, JD. And that was one of the first times I've ever had guests over at the house to enjoy these shows as much as I do. And man, we had food. We were just kicking and laughing and shouting about some of the things that were actually being shown. Really, really awesome time.
Oh yeah, I definitely crashed the party. I was like, "You still got that going on this weekend? Can I come by?"
And it was funny because JD, we actually took a little break from working out for a little while because he had some things going on. Then all of a sudden, I started getting these texts, and then I was like, "Hey man, am I still getting that invite to the showcase over your place this Tuesday?"
Yes, made that happen.
Like, absolutely,
man. So yeah, a lot of tired, grueling days straight after work. Went straight over there, watching all those videos, trying not to fall asleep.
Yeah, man, it was a super fun time, man. I'm glad you made it over, and it was the same thing that we did for the Game Award show in December.
Yes.
Remember, my theater was down, and we did it at your place in December last year. So always cool to
thank you. Got to keep that tradition going.
Yeah, we absolutely will. The Game Award show is going to be this December too, so we'll more than likely do it then as well. So,
all right, awesome.
Well, guys, let's not delay. Let's go ahead and get right into these video games.
Video games, the Fun Waste of Time podcast. Pick up the controller. Video games. Video games. Video games.
So as I said, guys, what we're going to do, we're going to start the discussion with the games that we've actually been playing over the last few months. Now, there's just been one big game that I've been playing since March. And man, I absolutely love that game. And once it's my turn to talk about what we've been playing, I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you. But JD, being the gaming connoisseur that he is, he's been playing a lot of really cool games over the last few months. So I am really, really looking forward to him not only sharing what he's been playing, but we actually were able to get over his house to take some B-roll of some of the cool things that he played in his actual theater. The one great thing about the Fun Waste of Time, and one of the things that I actually try to emphasize on this show, is I'm not just a fan of being able to talk about some of the things that we've been doing, we're experiencing on the show in our spaces, but I want to make sure that we capture some video so you guys can actually see how we're actually utilizing our rooms while experiencing and enjoying some of this content that we enjoy playing and watching. So I was able to get over to JD's place and record him playing some of these fantastic games, and just in awe of how fantastic his space is and the experience that he gets when he's playing these games. So JD, why don't you go ahead and start us off with one of the first games that you've actually been playing?
Yeah. Neo 3. Put about 110 hours into this game. I was really shocked at what I experienced. I'd never played any Neo game before, and I expected it to be some type of Souls-like clone, but at the end of the day, it wasn't necessarily about, patience. It was about like really controlled aggression system, being able to have a style of a samurai and and or just play an entire game as the ninja. And I chose the ninja. This is me as the ninja, and it was just it felt like I was playing like Ninja Gaiden or something like that. I mean, the style, the moves that he has, the magic that he actually uses. I mean, I was able to build an OP character in the end, and this is me playing after a couple months hiatus because I finished the game. So if you see some weird stuff in here, it's like I forgot how to play the game, but I
Hey,
still was so OP. I was.
he was getting bodied and handed while we were recording this footage.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Every boss just went down. You know, instead of them going down in 2 seconds, they went down in 10 seconds. You know, there was no loss here. But no,
Still
it was
got it.
good.
He still
But
got
no,
it.
it's a great game. I'm looking forward to going into the next iteration of it if it comes out. Part of me wants to go back and try 1 and 2, but I was aware that the new ninja style that I'm really a big fan of, I think just got introduced in 3. So I'll probably be looking more forward to going beyond this,
Gotcha.
So
And I actually played 2, which is one of the reasons why I recommended it to you to play, because based on some of the prior games that you were playing, this really seemed like it would be your jam. Because when I played 2, I played maybe about 4 or 5 hours of it and enjoyed what I played, but it's in that Souls-like genre, which means that it's pretty challenging. And once I hit a wall, I was like, let me go ahead and put it down and maybe come back to it. And then just eventually never really went back. But I knew based on the games that you played in your past, this would absolutely be your jam.
Oh yeah.
So, and I'm really glad that you took to it, because one of the other reasons I recommended it to you is because I want to play this too. And the Neo games 2 and 3 have co-op. Yeah. So I'm planning to buy the game soon. I was supposed to do it a while ago, and just haven't gotten around to it just yet. But I am going to buy this game eventually. And then you and I are going to go up to the game room, man, and you're going to show me the ropes when it comes to playing this.
And I forgot enough about the game that I may actually be on par with you. So
We'll see. That'll make. Hey, will you? I know we talked about you starting from the beginning level. Are you gonna? Have you changed your mind about eventually starting from the beginning level like me, so we can be leveled the same?
No. The struggle is real with this game. The struggle is real.
Okay.
But no, I think I will. I'll do that. I'll try that. We'll do that.
Okay.
But
well, what I want to do now, JD, is I want to let folks hear some of how this game plays in your space, the fantastic audio design that's in the game, and how it sounds in this really, really awesome theater that you have.
Thanks.
So let's play some of this so they can actually hear what you're experiencing when you play this in your space.
No one told me we'd be pitted against giant demons. Who's going to last long?
Just freaking awesome, man. That game, look, it sounded fantastic when I was walking around experiencing in your space while you were playing.
Yeah, I need the audience to know that I should not have struggled as much on that. That wasn't even a boss. Very rusty, very rusty. But mission accomplished. Job is done. It's done.
Well, you're going to get your legs back under you once you and I start to get back into doing it some co-op. So we'll get that worked out.
Looking forward to it.
Now, talk a little bit about that next game that you actually played.
Bond, I believe, is the next game here. I picked that up. I was looking forward to it because I believe it's the studio behind Hitman, and that in itself is a game that always felt like it was a Bond game. I mean, it was like a Bond type game anyway, with the how we do the stealth, the takedown. So I mean, I think it's a perfect marriage, these two, between Hitman and Bond. And I was beyond surprised how well it was. I mean, they didn't just go ahead and take like GoldenEye formula. They went ahead and did their own thing, made it their own, and it fits so well within the universe. The gadgets in this game, working with Q, it was just a cinematic video game movie. And there's other elements in this game too where it just kept me hooked for the entire run. I probably put about maybe 25, maybe 35 hours into the game.
Wow.
And I big fan of it. I just could not wait to come back to it every opportunity that I got. This is also where I am remembering how to play the game again, so we were messing around here. I was like, I don't even know how to pull out my gun right now. Do I gotta wait till I gotta whatever? So I'm over here just fighting people, getting shot at. So
we need to remind the audience that he already had finished these games probably a week or two prior. And Neo, he finished probably a month before we recorded this B-roll. So he had to try to remember on the fly how to actually play these games, the mechanics and the systems and everything. But you did pretty good though, man. I got to say, we got some good footage based on, you doing your thing.
Yeah, I tried.
So what I want to do now is let's let folks hear once again what this game is like being experienced in your room. I'm going to go ahead and crank the volume up so they can hear it all.
Okay.
Going in. Guess he's all good again. Let's have a look. Where did you come from? Wake up! You're dealing with a maniac here. Just give up.
I had to show that failed part. I got that.
For not have actually played the game in a while, I think you did pretty darn good, man.
I didn't pull out a single weapon. I don't know. But no, it was a good game.
Fantastic. Awesome. I'm really looking forward to playing this one. This is one that I've not touched just yet because the game that I'm actually going to be discussing, I am still putting time in because it's deep. There is a lot to it. And I want to make sure that I dig into all elements that I possibly can. But this one is on my list, and I'm really, really looking forward to getting into it once I find a little more time and get a little closer to finishing that other game.
No, it's a different experience, and then to me, coming from games where I'd put 100, 200 some hours in there, and then jumping to a game that I initially read that it was like 15 to 20, I was like, "Oh, okay, I need more, of it," but it kept me entertained, and it has, I think, a lot of replay value also.
I can tell. I can absolutely tell. So the next game that you actually play, let's talk a little bit about this because we both actually experienced this one. Initially, when we played it over at my place in my theater because we had just found out the day before that there was a demo that had become available for it because the game isn't out just yet. It doesn't come out well until, I think it comes out in September. So it's coming out in a few months, actually. But it was announced at the PlayStation State of Play, and we'll talk a little bit more about it at that time. But I'm going to let JD talk about his experience playing it, how he felt about it, and then I'll share some thoughts on what I experienced with the gameplay as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. So this game was Onimusha. I have a pretty aged experience with it. I remember it in PlayStation when it came out, and it was one of my favorite games. So to see it in the way that it is now in current gen, and I haven't revisited this game in probably a decade plus, and looking at what they're doing with the combat system here and the parries and the combos, and I can't wait to get into this game. And this to me feels like it's in somewhat of a league of its own. This is to me somewhat of the originators of some of the stuff that we see now. So it's going to be a breath of fresh air for me to get into this type of gameplay.
I wholeheartedly agree. I'm really looking forward to getting the full game because what we played really felt like a lot of the type of games that I like to play these days. I've been playing a lot of Crimson Desert. I just finished months ago Ghost of Yotei, which was a fantastic samurai third-person action game. And Onimusha, Way of the Sword, plays almost exactly as good as both of those games that I've mentioned. This is my jam when it comes to the type of games that I like to play. The combat felt really good. The movement felt smooth. The enemies, when they hit you, they actually hit you really, really hard to where you can actually feel what they're doing. The parrying that you do, I've never really been good at parrying, but I actually was able to get the timing right on some of the combos that I was hitting back on some of these enemies based on the way the parry is timed in this game.
Yeah, very forgiving.
Yeah, it felt really, really good. Very forgiving.
Sorry. I was like, how did you pull that one off?
That is true. That is true. It was pretty forgiving. I'm not going to deny that.
It was like, Taurus, you didn't even press the button on that. I don't know how they gave that to you.
For real. But it just really felt good to play, man. And the audio design was really, really good, man. The one thing that we didn't talk about with those prior games that you were discussing, Neo 3 and 007 First Light, is the audio design in these video games, man, is just freaking phenomenal. The one thing that we did not talk about, JD, and I think you need to share with folks, is tell us what size is your screen and tell us what configuration of speakers, what's your speaker configuration that you have going on in your room?
Okay, I think I have 140 wide. Diagonal. What is that? A panamorphic lens, or like I have an anamorphic lens here, and I have a cinescope type screen powered by like a Matte VR to allow it to always fit in the aspect ratio of the screen. And
your screen it's a 235 or 240 configuration aspect
ratio?
It's a
235, I believe. Yeah, nice. 235, I believe. So, but one of the biggest things too is going to be the surround sound system. For the most part, I believe I have an 11.3.6 system, and got my wides. I got a second row of side speakers. I have two kind of more kick sub 21 subs in the front, 21-inch subs, and I have a 32 infrasonic in the back. And that's the whole system in itself, powered by I believe a Trinoff system here.
So bottom line is, it is a top tier, the best that you could possibly get when it comes to having a home theater. It sounds freaking phenomenal, guys. And the experience in there is just amazing. I remember being over JD's place prior to us starting the video game, and we were, just kind of playing around in the room because he really wasn't gaming in his theater all that much at that time.
Oh.
And he was, we were in there playing Ghost of Yotei, just kind of testing it out. Mad VR at the time didn't really have their gaming mode set up just yet. So the latency on the controller to the actual game was extremely heavy and difficult to play games in there. So it looked good. It really did. But because of all the latency with all of the coming from the controller to the actual system, we weren't able to continue to play the game. And I understood why he wasn't playing in his theater.
And I would bypass too. And that's what I was doing. I would still get the audio, but I would bypass to be able to have the video go straight to the projector. But you could still see the bars. I'm not a big fan of the bars.
Yeah, and even the color really wasn't as
right.
nice as it would be with all of the processing that MadVR typically does with its movies and TV shows. But that's changed because MadVR has actually come out with their gaming mode for the system. And man, everything that we're seeing now is with MadVR with their actually gaming mode they've established in that processor. And it looks freaking amazing. And it plays really, really well too, which is what I was very happy to see JD being able to experience games more in his theater because of that. So,
yeah. And before, I used to be the headset guy, be like, having a headset and whatever. I had to playing all Call of Duty games. I can hear the footsteps or whatever, but having a system like this and appreciating it more, I owe you that, really convincing me like, yes, the best sound that you're going to get is, that fully immersive bubble in your theater.
yeah,
And
man.
I can't stop from there on out, so I don't think I can go back to a headset.
Yeah, you've got a fantastic space, dude. There's no reason, to not take advantage of all of that amazing stuff you have in there. So what I want to do now, guys, is I want us to just watch this boss fight. I'm not going to play the whole thing because I don't want to spoil it for everybody. If you get the opportunity or you want to go and play the Onimusha Way of the Sword demo yourselves, but I at least wanted to show you what it's like in JD's theater playing Onimusha Way of the Sword during this boss fight. And as you can see, there are two Milk Duds sitting in that front row. We got Milk Dud number 1, which is me, and Milk Dud number 2, which is JD, sitting in there enjoying this space. You know what I'm saying?
I thought it was gonna be Milk Dud number 1 in my own house, but I guess not. I'm still B2. I'm still 2. Bow down.
You know what? Hey, listen, I'll bow down. No, I'm the one that's going to bow down. It is your house. It is your house. So you can be Milk Dud number 1. I'm Milk Dud number 2.
God.
Plus, you're holding the controller. So
hey,
I'm with it. All right, so let's check this out and just experience what it's like watching this in JD space.
So damn strong. I've been bored halfway back to death. Look, you got yourself one too. What blessed luck. Right where we left off. Death can't stop us.
I wish it would stop you at least. Who the hell wears a metal hat? First ball.
Nicely done. I'll never get sick of this. Let's go, Masashi. At least pretend to try. I'm right here. You look terrible, Masashi.
So as you guys can see, JD was doing some serious work on that boss. But that was only after he played the game about 4 or 5 times.
had to call me out. He's telling the truth. No lies have been spoken on that.
I will say that we didn't really, because when we played this together at my place, it took us a while to figure out how to beat this guy. And you were the one that actually came up with, hey, man, we probably need to be pairing him to take down the stone.
Yeah.
And then once you figure that out, we were able to take him down that first time around at my place. I almost had him down. I had him down to like maybe a tenth of his health.
Yeah.
And sure enough, man, I got greedy and did something I shouldn't have done, and he took me out. And sure enough, the next couple of tries, I passed it over to JD because we do the pass the rock thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I passed the rock over to him. He did it after a couple of tries, and he was actually able to get it done at that time. So, but really, really fun and fantastic game. Can't wait for it to be released.
Same.
But now what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to talk about the game that I've actually been playing, and I'm really, really excited to get into that with you. And I've been playing this game for a couple of months now, to be honest with you, and that is Crimson Desert. Crimson Desert is, I got to tell you, it probably is the GOAT when it comes to games for me. Because I've never played a game where I put in over 150 hours. It is unusual for me to put in that much time into a single player game. Now, I put in 60, 70, even 80 hours into single player games that actually have called for it, but rarely have I put over 100 hours. The only game that I put 100 hours or more into, and I actually had 180 with between the different systems I was playing it on, because I was playing it on PC and on PlayStation 5, was Helldivers 2. So Crimson Desert is the first game where I put in over 150 hours into a single player game. And let me tell you, the game is just freaking phenomenal. There's so many different things to do in this game. The systems that all of the systems that there are to learn in the game are just amazing and varied. And there's a massive number of them. Combat felt really good. And here's the thing about Crimson Desert. When it first came out, it wasn't really reviewing as well as they were hoping it would.
Right.
Because the way the combat is set up on the controller is the controls are kind of unique. It can throw you off if you're used to playing third-person action games, and they've got this controller layout where the buttons are just not intuitive to how you typically play. So a lot of people, before the game actually released, a lot of the reviewers weren't reviewing it positively because they just really weren't into the way the game controlled. There were some other things that they felt were a little unbalanced at the time. And I understood it. But the one thing that those that actually stuck with the game and played it more and more, put more time into it, they realized that it all started to come together. The reason the controls were the way that they were is because there are a lot of other systems in the games that in the game that you have to learn. And there's a lot of different variation that you can do with the combat. So the way the controls are set up is more like a fighting game than it is a typical third-person action game. And once you learn that, once you learn the controls, oh my gosh, this game just gets so fun, man. There's so much to learn and so much to do. You should never get bored playing this game. So what we're looking at right now, this is one of the early bosses that you fight. I'm not going to show a lot of boss fights because I don't want to spoil it for those that actually want to play this. But this is the second time that I fought this boss. The first time I fought him after playing the game about, say, 10 or 12 hours. And I was just kind of mainlining the main story and whatnot. Wasn't really doing a whole lot of the side missions and that kind of thing. So I wasn't leveling up the way that I should have and needed to fight this guy. So I had to go back to the drawing board after fighting him the first time and just getting handed by him and level up. So after 40 hours of leveling up, I actually came back and fought him. And sure enough, man, it was a totally different outcome. But man, oh man, is this game fun to play. What we're looking at here is you don't have to spend all of the skill points that you acquire on your attributes. You can actually learn skills by watching and learning some moves from either some of the bosses or some of the NPC characters that you come across. And what you just saw a little bit ago was me picking up a skill from watching him, a move from watching him, where I didn't actually have to use a skill point in order to acquire that. The game does that a lot, which allows you to level up at a really good rate without actually having to acquire skills, go out and farm for them and then use them at that time. But absolutely love this game. Let me let you guys hear some of this fight before I let JD jump in, because JD's played it too, and he's going to have some things to say as well.
Behind this mask lies unstoppable suffering. Then I'll shatter it.
So I'm going to let JD tell us a little bit about his experience playing this game, because he's played it too, and he's put more hours into it than I actually have. So I'm really, really curious for JD to share what his experience has been with this game.
It was okay. That's good. Definitely game of the year for me. I think regardless of how GTA 6 looks, it should be worried. The innovation in this game, how unique the game is. I mean, it kept me drawn in the entire way through, to the point where I had so many options between main quests, side quests. It was just a full smorgasbord of whatever I wanted to do in any type of way to play the game, from building my gear and or just going on different quests with my camp, uh, going through that whole section there and unlocking so many new abilities. And just like you said, I mean, you don't have to use those points you acquire to upgrade your skills. You could actually use them to put them in your gear. You can use that core element. And I put in about 210 hours, and I'm ashamed to say that as a
Ashamed?
father
Why are
of
you
two.
ashamed? You should be
As
proud
a
of that.
father of two and an amazing, beautiful wife, it's just like,
So are you saying that you were neglecting the family to play this game?
I'm saying that there was a lot of sacrifices that were made, and a lot of late night gaming, that I had to do to make that happen. And so very forgiving family. I pay them back. In abundance of time. But no, I had a great experience, and I think around the time you were playing, you were a little bit ahead, and I was telling you about my experience with the game. You kept telling me like, "Oh no, man, you're going too fast. You're going too fast. You're going too fast." Like, really? Am I going too fast? Am I going too fast? I think it was just that I was, really in my normal mode of trying to get overpowered and seeing that skill and level checks that the game would give you. And I took your advice. I thought slowed down a little bit, and before I came back to the main story. And I think you and I were probably on chapter 8 or 9 for 50 to 60 hours or so. We were just really there. And until I decided to say, hey, you know what? It's time to finish. I was able to get this gear, max this out. I think it's time to go forward. And I had a blast with it.
And 200 hours, man, that's plenty of time to put into a single player game. But the thing about it is, you probably could have played this game for another 100 hours. Because there's that much more content still left to do, because there were quite a few side missions that I don't think you actually had the opportunity to dig into just yet. But for me, it's at the point to where, because a lot of the time that I've been spending with the game has been with the side missions, because there's so much to see and so much to do, that I've been kind of slow getting to the main story because of wanting to experience some of these other areas of the game and the exploration in this game. This game, oh my gosh, any area that you can see, you can go to, which is freaking cool. And you're going to experience something cool if you take the time to actually go out there and explore. This is one of the side missions that you can do, where you fight this guy called the Stag Lord. This was an awesome fight. And I was hooked way prior to fighting this guy. But after fighting him, I could not put that controller down, man. I think I went on like a 50 or 60 hour stretch after fighting him, because I was so pumped by some of the things that I was experiencing with this game. And it is a beautiful looking game.
He put a beating on you.
Well, until I actually started to learn his moveset, he did. He did. I was getting bodied. Look at this.
It's just,
now, if I let me put the sounds on so you can hear me grunting and groaning and all of that.
No, they may hear you crying.
bodied.
You got him. Or not. There you go.
Well, like I said, I don't want to spoil the experience for those who haven't had the opportunity to actually play the game just yet by showing what the end of that fight actually looked like. But man, if you've not played Crimson Desert and you like third-person action games, this is going to be the game for you. I truly believe that. You just have to get through, I hate to say this, but probably about the first 10 hours so that you can learn the systems, learn the things that you need to know, because it does take about that much time in order for you to do so.
Yeah.
The game is very, very, there's a lot to it. Like I said, this is probably one of the most varied single player games I've ever played when it comes to systems and being able to do different things in the game. The last thing about this game that I actually want to show is some of the scenic areas in the game. In movies, they call it cinematography, but in video games, we're going to look at some of the field of view and some of the landscapes, the beautiful landscapes that this game actually has. Because like I said, it is a looker, man, for sure. Just look at all of that landscape and how beautiful it actually is. And as stated, you can go anywhere on the map that you can actually see. Now, there may be some areas that might be cut off because you actually have to get to that portion of the game. But any area that you're seeing here, you could actually travel to. You might not be leveled up enough to handle some of the things that you're going to experience there based on what your gear set is like, but you can absolutely go there and see what there is to see. But beautiful, beautiful, fantastic game. Absolutely love it. All right, guys, so that was all of the games that we've actually been playing up to this point. But I got one last little treat for you. Just a couple of months ago, I actually hosted a game night over at my place in my game room. And I invited some of the fellas who were in the movie group, JD included, and one of our good buddies from the group, Nick P, came through and hung out with us. And a buddy of mine, Trey, who's been a part of the movie group as well, coming to some of the nights that we've held too over at my place. So all of us got together, had a fantastic time playing Helldivers 2. And the one thing that I'm all about when I'm actually hosting and curating an experience like game night is I want to make sure that everybody has a good time, everybody has access to the game, and then when we all get together, there are no technical issues and everything goes smooth so that we can just get right into playing and having fun. And I made sure that we had a nice spread, had plenty of food, had the typical gaming snacks, Doritos, Mountain Dew, you know, that kind of thing.
The diet breakers.
And the meal for the evening was, we had Mediterranean, and that was actually recommended by JD.
Yes.
So JD recommended gyros and, you know, some of the other Mediterranean food to complement that. So I went ahead and made sure that we had that as well.
Thank you.
Absolutely. It was just a fantastic time. And what I want to do is I want to share some moments from that experience so you guys can see the fun that we actually had. Popping in.
Whose idea was it to increase? Oh my God! Oh, this is
Thank you.
hilarious.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, this is hilarious.
Will that get everybody?
No, there's just one.
Oh, okay.
Actually, hold on. It might. Yeah, it's called. Okay,
I'm
cool.
about to say the most unreliable one was called in.
I think I don't not supposed to be where he called me at. What do I do?
Now we lost the objective. We got to call it back.
I'm on a roof. I get called on a roof.
You're on a roof.
Am I dead by jumping? What's going
That's
on?
me
here?
dying.
Yeah.
Going down at support weapon. Reloading.
Oh!
Ships. Oh man, that was just so much fun, man. We had such a fantastic time that night. And there's one more clip that I actually want to show. I want to show you guys what the spread was like. And we ripped it up, man. Boy, we had the food was so good from this Mediterranean restaurant that you can see that.
Pasha, right?
Pasha, yeah, Pasha Mediterranean restaurant here in the San Antonio area. And they're pretty much all over the San Antonio region. I think they have about two, maybe. I think there are two.
Yeah, maybe three. Maybe three, I think.
Okay.
So.
I know they have a few around town, but really, really good food. So what I'm going to share now is just us still playing, and I'm going to show you what we had going on in the snack bar area there.
Oh, I just popped a new name for our group. BMG, Bald Men Gaming.
Bald Men Gaming.
You know what? I also don't have the same level on me. That's crazy. Put in work. Put in work. Put in work. Give him the whole clip, man.
Running.
So that was kind of a nice long segment.
Yeah.
Video game segment of us playing games in our spaces, as well as the game night that we actually had. And it was just a really fun time. How'd you feel about that, JD? Is that something you think you'd want to do again?
I'm just waiting for the next invite.
Yeah, so typically we do our movie nights every couple of weeks. So I do the game nights. I'm looking to do the game nights maybe once every quarter or so when the fellas are
That makes
available.
sense.
Yes, we'll do it maybe once every 3 to 4 months or so. But what we're going to do now, guys, is we're going to go ahead and transition over to the main topic of the show. So let's go ahead and get that going. And I'm going to go ahead and transition and get things ready.
Calling all video game, movie, TV, and home theatre fans. You're listening to the Fun Waste of Time podcast, where we love to talk shop about your favourite hobbies and all the fun ways to waste your day.
Well, all right. So, guys, it is Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. And I say it to anybody who will listen or who will ask. My favorite time of the year is not Thanksgiving or traditional Christmas. It's summer blockbuster movie and video game season. That's because that's when we get the best big budget blockbuster action movies and announcements for new upcoming awesome video games releasing within the next few months and year. Now, in this episode, we're going to focus on the video game side of the house, as we've been doing, because just this past week, as of the time of this recording here in early June, we had 3 major video game showcases featuring some fantastic new games coming to all the major video game platforms. The showcases were PlayStation State of Play, Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest, and the Xbox Game Showcase. There were some other cool gaming showcases sprinkled in there as well. But for the sake of time, because we're probably running at about maybe close to an hour now, we're going to focus on the major 3. We do have a game or two from some of the smaller showcases and individual announcements that happen around that same time that we'll probably discuss as well. Now, keep in mind, we're not going to go through every game announced at the various showcases, just the ones that stood out to us and we are most looking forward to playing. Let's get started with a new game that was announced a few weeks prior to the showcases. And for that one, I got to tell you, I am really, really looking forward to this. This is a game that 5 years ago, my brothers and my really good friends, we spent a lot of time playing the first iteration in this franchise. This is Aliens Fireteam Elite 2. And the cool thing about the game is the gunplay just felt really, really good. The enemies that you fought were varied. The locations that you went to, there weren't a whole lot of locations because I think the game probably ran about maybe 15 hours or so to get through all of the campaign and everything that they actually had to offer. And you could definitely get more time out of that. But my brother and I and some of my friends, we ran through it in about, say, 12 to 15 hours. And there's a lot of replay value to it, too. So some of my friends who hadn't had the opportunity to play Aliens Fireteam Elite, I went back and did subsequent play sessions with them as well. But the one cool thing about this new game is Aliens Fireteam Elite, the first one, was only 3-person co-op. Now in Fireteam Elite 2, it's 4-person co-op. So now you can have an additional buddy, all 4 of your good friends, sit around and play this fantastic game. Just look at how good this gameplay looks. Oh my gosh. I cannot wait to get my hands on this. JD, how does this look to you?
Well, I didn't play the first game. I think I was between consoles at that time, but being a long hardcore gamer, that doesn't mean you're not following these games even if you haven't played them. And I was very well aware of this game here. I mean, some of the Alien franchise games have been a hit or miss. This is one that's one of the better ones from my understanding. I didn't expect this to be one of my favorite games, but I'm a big fan of co-op shooters and I'm a fan of the Alien universe. So if that additional slot that you have for 4 is now me, I'm down. I'm in.
You absolutely will get a slot in this when we actually do run this co-op, because the game is super, super fun, man. Learning the systems and how really tactile the actual gunplay feels and whatnot is a really, really awesome experience. As a matter of fact, I do have a clip from playing the game 5 years ago. And at the time, it was actually my brother-in-law and I playing. And man, we just had an awesome time playing this game. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try to share some of that with you. And so you guys can see what it was like playing this game, playing the original game 5 years ago in my space.
What am I looking at here? Who built this?
So this is me. My brother-in-law's around doing something. I'm going to turn the sound on a little bit so you guys can hear what's going on.
A synthetic. Perhaps I can recover its final directives.
Another swarm from behind! Drone! Don't let it run!
So that was me sitting in my theater. That was an earlier version of my theater before I had everything that I have right now. But even then, it was still a really fantastic experience playing this game. And JD, the one thing that you'll notice also that I've actually been trying to get you to do is you see this headset that I have on here?
Mm-hmm.
That's the headset that you have now. That is the multiplayer co-op headset that you want to use when you have a home theater, right?
Okay.
What it does is it allows, there's some air that it allows, and it's open, so it's not sitting exactly on your ear, so you can get sound coming in from the room. So it doesn't block all of that fantastic audio that you have going on in your room. So,
okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying that one out.
Yeah, this more than likely is going to be one of the games that we'll try it out on, because the game is coming out, I think, in summer 2026. So probably sometime between July and August.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll be coming out about that time. But let's go ahead and move on to the next thing that we're going to be discussing. Let's get into the PlayStation State of Play now. Now, one of the first games that they actually showed at the State of Play was a game that we've actually been waiting around for a while to really see some deep gameplay from it. Now, they put a trailer out for it a little earlier, and the trailer did have a little bit of gameplay in it, but it did not have an extensive amount of gameplay so that we could actually see what we will be doing moment to moment in the game. And that game was Wolverine. Really, really looking forward to getting my hands on this one.
Long awaited Wolverine.
But the great thing about this game is they did not shy away from who Wolverine is.
No, they did not.
Wolverine's skills, his mutant abilities are very visceral. They're very violent, and somebody's going to get hurt when he does his thing. So there's no getting around to the how visceral his skills are. And the game actually gives you a really, really deep understanding of how it's going to play. And there's some similarities. You can see that it's kind of looks like it's still in the same world as the Spider-Man game, because this is Insomniac Studios making this one, who makes the Spider-Man games. But so you can kind of tell that it's in that same world more than likely. But the gameplay is very, very different. While Spider-Man kind of traverses all around the city of Manhattan, Wolverine is going to have to be more of a kind of a linear experience, right? Because he doesn't have that ability to traverse through, webs and jumping on buildings and that kind of thing. But man, I got to tell you, what we're seeing here, my gosh, this game looks like it's going to be one of the top games that we're going to be playing this year.
Oh yeah, it's probably Sony's biggest exclusive coming up, and the brutality and the combat in there, and whoever does his immediate laundry service, because his blood is going to disappear any second. Wow, look at him.
He's moving so quick that the blood dried up.
That's what it is. This is how quick that's what it is. Definitely very mature. I mean, I walked away from this being like, man, I watched X-Men, when I was a kid, the cartoon was like, man, how's this dude an X-Men? He's so violent. I'm like, okay, this is the reality of who Wolverine really is. I have to remember that part,
Yeah.
But no, it looks good. It looks
good.
Good.
I am really, really looking forward to us getting our hands on that one. And we won't have to wait too long. It's actually coming out September 15th of this year.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so
around the corner.
Yeah, we'll be able to get our hands on this one fairly quick. Now, the next game that was actually showed at the PlayStation State of Play, we've actually given you guys some gameplay of in JD's fantastic theater, and that was Onimusha, The Way of the Sword. Onimusha, I got to say, man, what was cool about this announcement is when they dropped it, they showed us some gameplay, because this isn't the first time that it was announced. It was announced last year. And we saw a little bit of gameplay from it last year, and even that looked really good and had us all excited. But the difference between what they showed us last year and what we got this year is at the end of the trailer, they basically stated that the demo was out now. So as soon as I saw that after the show was over, the State of Play was over, I went and I downloaded that demo. And the next day, JD came over and we started to play it. We passed the rock on this game and just had a really, really fantastic time playing through it. And the one good thing that it did for us, it didn't give us a lot. I think the gameplay was probably only about an hour. Maybe you could stretch it out to maybe 90 minutes, if that. I'm assuming it probably was what, about 45 minutes an hour, JD? What do you think?
Yeah, probably about that. I mean, we weren't that good. So I had to re-download the game at my place, and I just flew right through it because I was so used to it. I mean, it's not going to take long at all to really get the game down in itself because it wasn't long at all once I played it again.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so the demo really wasn't all that long, but what it did give us is it showed you everything that you need to know in order to be excited about playing.
Right.
And for sure, I am really, really looking forward to getting my hands on this game and playing through it. Like we talked about when we showed in JD's place, it plays a lot like the most fantastic third-person action games that you potentially could get your hands on.
Oh, yeah.
Crimson Desert, Ghost of Yotei, and those types of games.
And like I was saying initially when we first talked about it, I feel like to me, just based on what I grew up on, this is kind of the originator for me. So your Ghost of Yotei, Ghost of Tsushima, all that stuff. Sekiro, that's kind of a mixture of that one, for me.
Makes a whole lot of sense. Absolutely. So the next thing that they actually showed, and I've actually played this game, to be honest with you. This is No Rest for the Wicked. I played it and I actually finished it. But I played it on PC, and it's been in early access for almost probably about a year and a half, if not a little longer than that. But as it states here, the full 1.0 release is getting ready to come out this October, and it's going to be on the PlayStation 5. If you've not had the opportunity to play No Rest for the Wicked, then you are missing out. And because it's only been on PC, those that only have PlayStation 5s and consoles, you haven't had the opportunity to play. So now you can get your hands on this and experience what it's like. It's a cross between almost like a third-person action game with a top-down ARPG aspect, but the combat is really intricate. There's some really fantastic things that you can do in the game. The gear sets and the different move sets and combos that you can actually do in the game are just really, really fantastic. If this comes on PlayStation 5 and JD, you actually want to play it, I'd be willing to give this a second playthrough on console, having played it on PC, because this is a game that would be worthy of a second playthrough.
Yeah, a game like this might get me into other games like Diablo type games too. I mean, I haven't been used to many games with that type of style or look, but I'd be willing to try for sure.
I really do think you'd enjoy it because it almost has a Souls-like aspect to it where there's some intricacy to the way the combat actually is set up, right? The
like
bosses.
Diablo meets Souls.
Say it again?
Like a Diablo meets Souls combat style.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. And the difference between it and a traditional top-down ARPG is it's very, the levels are very fluid. It's not just a top-down view. It's got a lot of different aspects to it, a lot of different levels that you can go through in the game. So for that reason, it's a really, really fantastic play, and one that I really do think that you're going to enjoy once you are able to get your hands on it. So the next game that I actually wanted to highlight that was at the State of Play was a game that we've seen before, and it's been the butt of jokes among those of us who have seen this game. But at the same time, it looks like it would be an awesome freaking play. And this is a game called Ill. Now, it's titled properly because once you see some of the things that are going on in this game, you may feel a little ill.
Yeah, for sure.
But seeing some of the actual gameplay just really made me think that it's one that I would be interested in checking out. I'm not super big into horror games, but there's a game that I used to play back in the day, back in the early Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 days called Fear. Fear was one of my favorite games. It was a first-person action shooter. And there were some supernatural elements to it. Just a really, really awesome game. It was more of a spooky game, a little bit kind of a horror game. There were some scares in it, but it was a little more action based. And although Ill looks like it's going to be more horror based, there are quite a bit of action beats in here too, as you can see. So it's one that I'm truly, truly interested in checking out. And right now there's no official date for it just yet. They say that it's going to release in 2027. So we can probably expect it sometime, maybe in the second half of the year, because I don't know how far along they are with it, but look at this. Oh my gosh, this looks like it's going to be an interesting play. What do you think of this, JD?
I agree with you on that one. Yeah, I mean, this one really does remind me of back in the early 2000s. You know, it was PC gaming back then for the most part, and I believe Fear was definitely one of the games that I was playing too. But this has a little bit of a mixture of another game I was playing on PC too. Was like Doom 3 when that came out. So some of the stuff that I'm seeing here is very reminiscent of that experience. So it's definitely over the top gore, and reminds me a lot of the Fear. That to me was a lot of jump scares for me. I remember from coming from where I am now, having my Logitech tech speakers from my computer blasting, and I'm just being scared in my dorm room with people, you know, just never forget that experience. So this is giving me a lot of chills thinking about that type of a gameplay and genre is coming back, you know. And it looks over the top. It's extremely gory. It's
It really is. It really, really does look like it's going to be over the top, but it looks like it's going to be an interesting and fun play. So definitely interested to check it out when it comes out in 2027. Now, this one is Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis. This is the actual remake of the original Tomb Raider from back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And
Polygon.
Oh my gosh, man. Look how good this looks though.
Looks good.
Because the first game, I didn't play the first game. That actually was before my time gaming. I didn't start gaming until about 2007 or so. But from what I've seen of the first game, it looks like there are a lot of the same beats that are in here, just taken up 20 notches because of how good it looks and how fluid the actual gameplay looks. The one cool thing that I've always liked about the Tomb Raider games and certain elements of it compared to some of the Uncharted games is Tomb Raider always seemed to have a little bit more of a fantastical, supernatural element to it. And seeing dinosaurs in a game, it just kind of ramps up the fun factor while playing these games. And it just looks really, really good. And I think there are 2 Tomb Raider games that are going to be coming out next year. Yeah. This is a remake of the game that came out in like the 90s, I think, or the early 2000s. And then they've actually got a new game in the franchise that Crystal Dynamics is going to be putting out later in 2027.
Okay.
So this one comes out February 12th, 2027. I think the other one is going to be coming out later in that year, if not early next year, if they don't push it back. How does this look to you, JD?
Well, Lara Croft is finally back. You know, I'm really curious to see if this version leans more into action or, you know, exploration. You know, so when I think about these type of games, to the point that you made about a little bit more of a fantasy element on it, the last franchise that they had where they did kind of the remake of it and started all over, that was trying to really be more not put too much of it in there or more allude to it more. So you didn't have the dinosaurs or whatever or the clear fantasy mystical element to it, but it alluded to that. This right here, the remake, is just it's going straight into what I remember from my past with you know, dinosaurs and things like that. But those were some of the funnest games that I've played, you know, especially the last version of it. That reminded me of the similar gameplay in that Bond that I just played. So it's very right up my alley. So I'm very curious on how they're going to do it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to checking it out as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So the next game is Rayman Legends Retold. This is an actual remake of the Rayman Legends game that came out back in 2013. And I actually played a little bit of Rayman Legends when it came out back then and enjoyed my time with it. I never really finished it, but did enjoy the little bit that I played. But the graphical fidelity on this remake is just awesome. Look at this. Look how good it looks.
Oh, yeah, it does look good.
And it's 4-player co-op. So if you have friends or JD, you could have your daughter play with you. If you could get her interested in playing something like this. but it just looks like a really, really fun, well designed, and with the graphical fidelity taken up another level. It looks like something I absolutely would love to play again. What do you think?
I'm with you on that. Yeah. For me, with stuff like this, I look for any reason or excuse to try to find a game to play my little baby girl. So she's not little more; she's 13 years old. But I'm turning her into a gamer for as much as I possibly can. But I was never into these type of games for the most part. I mean, but I know that this tells me that I know fans have been begging for this. This tells me that Ubisoft is listening to the fans to be able to create something like this. So um, I'm all in if little baby girl Carlena wants to play with me. Um, any excuse that I have to get her in here to experience this, you know.
That is awesome. I'm hoping that she would want to play this too. She seems like she's, kind of slowly gaining some interest in playing games with you. Hopefully you can, coerce her into playing something like that with you.
It's on me. I mean, if you have a father that has time to put in 208 hours in one game, and then it's just, that's my fault. It's my fault. I look for any reason to buy her some new console. Like, oh, you may need this Switch. You may need this. Here's my old Xbox, but I need to get her back on the sticks for sure. I need to do that. That's
awesome.
on me.
I think that would be the one.
Yeah.
So the next game that I wanted to share, and this is actually what they close with at the PlayStation State of Play, and that is God of War Le Fay. This is a really, really interesting game. The one thing about it that I thought was pretty cool was it's not necessarily about Kratos. And the fact that it wasn't about Kratos, I thought was kind of cool because it was extending the lore of the game. And because I think there's a lot that they could actually mine in the God of War games that they've not actually done just yet. I think it'd be cool if Kratos actually was able to get his own game. But the fact that they actually focused on Faye, I thought was a really, really interesting take.
You mean boy, Atreus, right?
I'm sorry, who did I say?
Kratos.
I said Kratos. I meant Atreus. My bad.
Boy.
Yeah, I meant Atreus. Yeah. So the fact that that they focused on the mother Faye was a really interesting take on the game and how the game actually, and some of the new elements they could actually bring to it. Let me bring this up real quick so you guys can see what I'm talking about here.
Okay. Yeah, this definitely was one that piqued my interest. I love this franchise.
Right there with you.
It was interesting too. You said the whole thing about the Kratos game and her. When we look at the stories between God of War, the newer iteration, the whole thing has been about her. God of War 1, 2, it was about La Fay. So it's only fitting that now we see what's up with her, especially in God of War 2.
Yeah. But the one cool thing about the gameplay is, like I said, let me fast forward to some of the more fantastic fighting that's going to happen in the game here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they definitely kept us curious about who she was, throughout the most recent God of War. So this is just fitting for me.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of the God of War games. And like I said, the one thing I've always really wanted to see them do was to expand on the lore because there's so much that they could do. And the fact that they actually did it with a character that we didn't really get the opportunity to meet in the renewed franchise, but who played such a major role, in the story, I thought actually was a really, really cool and smart thing to do.
Right. Yeah, we met for a little bit in like the little tutorial stuff in the beginning, and that was about it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So that is how they ended the State of Play. We're going to go ahead and move it on because we still have a lot more to talk about, because there were some things at the Summer Game Fest, the Jeff Keighley Summer Game Fest, that were actually really interesting as well. And one of the games that featured at the Game Fest was a game that I thought looked pretty interesting the first time that we saw it, because they debuted it last year at the Game Awards show. But then this year at the Summer Game Fest, they actually gave us some really deep gameplay of how the game actually looks, how it's going to play when you actually get it in your hands. And that game is called Gen Atlas. This is by the creator of Eco and Shadow of the Colossus. And it just looks like a really, really interesting game. And it shows us some of the combat that takes place in the game that I thought was actually pretty cool. But did you ever play any of the Shadow of the Colossus game or Eco?
No, I have not. I have not played it. I mean, it looks the concept looks really interesting. Even when you hear the audio and the sound of it, it looks like. I know there's a Doom video game, but it felt very Dune-esque to me. The sound and the environment, and even that photo right there just feels like that type of a world to me.
Yeah. This one is going to be an interesting play because just look at how the world look. It looks like the world building that they've done with it is really, really interesting and really in depth.
Oh, wow.
And that's some of the combat that I was actually referencing a little earlier. Fighting other Colossus. But it just looks like it's going to be a really, really fun and fantastic game.
Yeah.
I've never played any of the prior games that the developers made.
Same.
Shadow of the Colossus or Eco. But this one actually has me excited to check out. Another game that they actually announced at the showcase that I thought was one that people actually got really excited about when they heard that it was coming. And I've heard that this game was in development, but it had been so long since we actually heard anything. I just wasn't sure how far along it was in development or if it was going to even come out because it had been so long since we heard anything. And that was The Last Ronin. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin. And this is based on a very popular Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic or graphic novel. And people who are familiar with that graphic novel were really looking forward to getting their hands on this game and playing it because the story in it is supposed to be really, really interesting and kind of dark for a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles story of how we typically know the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or kids these days know them, where all of the turtles, but I believe Michelangelo have been killed. Well, it's probably going to say pretty early in the game. It is called The Last Ronin for a reason.
Ronin, All right. But no, that's not a spoiler because you don't know who The Last Ronin is. Right?
I just told you. I just told you it's Michelangelo.
Oh, you did? Oh, man.
I could be wrong.
Hey, an auto spoiler.
It could be Raphael. I haven't actually read the book. I haven't read the graphic novels.
No, you're right. This is the darkest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle story ever. So I'm thinking like Batman Arkham Knight meets Ninja Turtles or something. So I mean, there's a lot that's going to be going on here. And then when you take a step back and say, all right, how can we make this element of Ninja Turtles game and have a single player mode? And I think this is going to be great. I mean, I look forward to see a movie of this or something. This is be very good. This is a very dark story.
Yeah, I think what had me excited about it most is that it's going to be developed by Platinum Games. Platinum Games, they do fantastic action games. They did the most recent Ninja Gaiden game, Ninja Gaiden 4. They've done some other really cool games, Bayonetta, as it showed in the trailer at that time. So the fact that they are making this game had a lot of people really excited because they have the pedigree to actually make the game as action heavy as people believe that it should be. So definitely looking forward to getting my hands on that one when it actually comes out.
Agreed.
Now, the next game that was shown at the Summer Game Fest was a game called Crossfire. And this was a cool one because it's a single player game, third person action game. And it's almost like a military shooter, but I think there are some sci-fi elements to it as well. And the developer of this, there's some developers, I think some developers of the Call of Duty games and some other pretty popular games as well. that are a part of this studio called That's No Moon. And some of the actors in it, this is the guy from American Gods.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got the girl, the woman from The
Boys,
Boys.
right?
So it's got a pretty interesting cast. And the gunplay in it looked pretty darn interesting as well.
Yeah. The cover systems and the camouflage.
And I'm really big into cover-based shooters, third-person
Agreed,
cover-based
yes.
shooters. Those are some of my favorite types of game. And it looks like this is actually doing some pretty interesting things too.
Yeah.
But that one actually is supposed to be released. There's no release date on this one actually. So that one is still pretty heavily into development right now. So I'm pretty sure we'll be seeing that one again at some of the upcoming game shows.
Yeah, I hope so.
Sometime in the next couple of months or so, or at least at the summer, not the Summer Game Fest, but the award show that takes place in December. Now, this game that we're going to be looking at next was actually shown at a few different showcases this summer. And each of the different showcases actually had different trailers that they were showing, because the game is going to be releasing coming up September the 24th. And that game is Control Resonant. And
oh yeah,
I'm really, really looking forward to this. And I think this one is going to be a fun one to play. It's a melee-based game. The first Control was all about third-person shooting and third-person action. And Remedy Studios, the studio that's making this game, decided to go a different route than the shooter route with melee. And the melee actually looks really, really well designed and developed. How does this look to you?
This one's it looks weird in a good way, you know. So like we talked about this before too. I mean, just the melee aspect of it. When Control Universe, we were in that building or whatever. Now we get to get outdoors, get some fresh air. So I'm hoping that we get more about the lore of this game too, because I believe this is supposed to be following the outbreak or something containing outside of the building. So, and that character, the protagonist, looks to be someone of a unique character, let's just say, as far as what I've been seeing about him. You know, like if he was has a special ability already within him, which is different, I think, from the first protagonist of the first Resident game. So, I'm really interested in this game. So, I'll be picking it up day one.
Yeah, and you won't have to wait too long. It's coming out September the 24th. The next game that they actually showed at the Summer Game Fest, and I actually wasn't interested in this game. Well, let me rephrase. I was cautiously optimistic about it, because there were some things that I was seeing that I thought were kind of cool. But games like this traditionally haven't been my jam. I do like racing games, but this one looked heavily arcadey. But man, I got to tell you, there's something about this game that just stands out. This is Star Wars Galactic Racer, excuse me. And this one is coming out in a few months, actually, October the 6th of this year. But man, the gameplay just looks awesome. What they did in this trailer actually is they showed some of the story-based elements of the game, because there apparently is a story. It's not just a racer. We're just jumping into races constantly. I do believe that you play as a protagonist in the game, or you're able to create your own character. I don't know if they really gave us many details about that, but based on it having a story, you are a protagonist of the game, as opposed to just jumping in a racer and running a race. But look at how good this game looks.
Oh yeah, it looks really good. I mean, this to me is one of those games that go back to my childhood as well. I don't know if it was N64 or what game I was playing, but I remember renting this from Blockbuster and playing it as much as I possibly could. It looks the same as the Pod Racer video game back in the day, so I may be interested in picking this up. I mean, I think like a game like this that couldn't do it back in the day, which is a real heavy, let's say if it has an online element, would be very interesting to bring that into play. So bringing back some of these old games and giving it the treatment that we have now, I think will really revitalize people from our nostalgia days, you know.
Absolutely. Now, the next game that they actually showed that I think we would be interested in is a game that JD, I actually think you would like this one. I really do. I think that you would like this one, because I know when I saw it, I was sold, man. This is a game called End of Abyss. And I've talked about this on the podcast before because it's very similar to Little Nightmares. And the one difference between it and Little Nightmares and another game that I just recently played with my brother called Reanimal is you get to shoot guns in this one. This is a top-down shooter that is in the same design style as a Little Nightmares or a Reanimal. And we actually got to see quite a bit of gameplay in this trailer of what you're going to be doing when you do play this game. And man, it just looks phenomenal. The game actually is going to be coming out soon too. It comes out in October the 1st. And I've been so excited about this game, I may just pre-order it and have it downloaded and ready to go as soon as it releases on either PlayStation, or I may play this on PC. Haven't decided just yet. But just looks awesome. What do you think of this?
I can't say that I won't be getting this because I will. No, you're right. That style looks pretty good to me. What I'm looking at here, I really want to get back in those games. I think the last game I am playing similar games like that. I mean, it's hard to compare these games to the what is that game?
Little Nightmares or
Hades. It's kind of got
okay.
that similar style. So yes, I'm very familiar with that type of style. But the way this looks, the graphics, the details, I think it's time for me to get a little bit more deeper into that type of game style format. Bastion was one of the first ones I think I played. It was a great game.
Yeah,
man.
So another game that they actually showed, that's been showed quite a bit actually, and this was my number one most anticipated game of this year. That was a game called Lords of the Fallen. Now, Lords of the Fallen is one of the best Souls-like games that I think I've ever played. I'm not a big Souls-like guy. I've just recently started to get more into the play style, but I did play Lords of the Fallen 1, the most recent one, 2023, that came out, and just loved the gameplay on it. There were just so many really cool elements to it. There are two different worlds on the same level. One's called the Umbral world. That's kind of like a dark, but really alive world that you can go to once you switch over from the real world. And the combat just felt visceral and varied. There's just so much that you could actually do in the game that I just kept coming back to it. This was my number one game this year, and Crimson Desert was my second most anticipated game this year only because we'd never really seen any games prior to it. But because I played the first one of this and they were doing a sequel of Lords of the Fallen, I had to make this my number one most anticipated game of this year. And oh my gosh, it is not disappointing from what we are seeing with a lot of the trailers and some other gameplay elements that they've been releasing on the game. What do you think of this? Does this look like something you'd be into?
Well, based on your recommendation, the first game is in my cart right now. I remember when this came out, it was I think I was heavy into Elden Ring around that time, and I think it got a lot of unfair comparisons around that time that may have affected more of its review in the sense. But based on hearing what your feelings are about the first game, it's in my cart right now. I just need to go ahead and hit that buy button. But the way this looks is amazing. I'm like, should I do the same thing as Neo 3? Just wait to play 2 instead of getting into it? Because this looks amazing right now. It's right up my alley.
I really do think that maybe you should probably wait until the second one comes out. Now, there's no specific release date just yet, but there is a release window. It is supposed to be releasing coming up in fall of 2026. So that more than likely would be around September, October timeframe.
Yeah.
Because once you start getting into November and December, we're talking about winter at that stage. But the game, oh my gosh, man, I've just been so excited about when this game is going to be released and what we're going to be able to experience when we get our hands on it. And the cool thing about the developers, CI Games, is they do a monthly podcast talking about elements of the game to get those who are excited about it even more looking forward to playing it.
Oh, good.
And they're always introducing new aspects and new elements of the game of how they improved from the first game within the franchise, the 2023 game.
Okay.
But definitely looking forward to getting my hands on that one. And the next game that I actually wanted to share with you guys that was at the Summer Game Fest is something that we've seen a lot of once again. But like I said, each and every time that we've seen gameplay from some of these games that have already been announced, they've been giving us more and more of an extended walkthrough or extended gameplay of what we can expect from these games. And this game is Blood of the Dawnwalker. Blood of the Dawnwalker is a game that was announced probably a couple of years ago now, maybe 18 months ago. And it looked good during the first showing that I think it was at the Game Awards show back in 2024 or something like that. It looked really good even back then. But my gosh, I cannot wait to get my hands on this one because it looks like a cross between what you would see from The Witcher. With even more fantastical elements of what you would normally get in The Witcher. And The Witcher is a very fantastical, fantasy-oriented kind of game. This one looks like it takes it up a few notches, even from that.
I think this is from the former Witcher developers too, though, right?
It is actually, yeah. The former game director of I think The Witcher 2 and The Witcher 3 is the one that actually is the game director on this one. And the name of the studio is called Rebel Wolves. So, but man, the game just looks really, really awesome.
I'm all about dark fantasy, so I'm in for this one for sure.
And it comes out September the 3rd too.
Oh man,
count me in. Mm-hmm. Did you ever play The Witcher?
Oh yeah. Regrettably, I got into it at Witcher 3, and I've heard a lot of great things about 1 and 2, but like 2 for sure. So I mean, but Witcher 3 it's one of those games I really want to go back to, but the muscle memory and it's just not going to be there for a while. Might as well start all over.
Well, you know that they're actually talking about a Witcher expansion, Witcher 3 expansion that's going to be coming out sometime in the next year, I believe. I think it's coming out in 2027. So if you've not really had the opportunity to dig really deep into The Witcher 3,
I'm done with Witcher 3.
Okay,
Witcher
but you never went back and played the expansions like Blood and Wine.
I never went. I did every single thing you could do in Witcher 3, but I just never played the Witcher 1 and 2.
Witcher 1 and 2, I got you. Okay.
So yeah. So I'll be looking for Series 2, the 4, whenever that comes.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty awesome. I think that one's probably going to be a little later, maybe 2028 or so.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But the next game that was shown, and one of the last games that I actually want to talk about, is a Telltale game, and we haven't seen that name in quite a while, Telltale, because they have made some awesome story-based games in the past, and I think this is one that folks were just waiting to get their hands on again, or they were hoping would be made because it's gone through a lot of strife being made. It was at one point it was supposed to have been made, then it looked like it was canceled, and all of a sudden they started it back up again, and that is The Wolf Among Us 2. Now, I never played The Wolf Among Us 1, to my shame, and it's one that I always wanted to go back and play, and just with all of the fantastic games that have been out over the years, I just never really had the time to go back in my backlog and pick this one up and finish playing it. Did you actually play this when it was out back in the day, or maybe at a later date?
Yes. I played this one out back in the day. This one's kind of near and dear to me because the games, some of that have a really deep impact to me is when I can get someone else involved with me that wouldn't normally be there. So this was a Pass the Rock game for myself and my wife.
No kidding.
Yeah, because it was more of a, pick this option, that option, because we did the same Telltale. They make the Walking Dead. We started on that. So this, right, I'm looking forward to this. The story was great, the way they took it with all the Brothers Grimm's, original type of story content. And it so it has a special place for me with this game because I have those memories with the wife and I, But I mean, have you played any Telltale games before? Like the Batman games, Borderlands? Yeah, I
played all of the Walking Dead games when they came out. The Guardians of the Galaxy one that they did was fantastic too. They did a Guardians of the Galaxy one. That was pretty awesome. They're a studio with a pedigree, and that's why a lot of people are really excited about potentially getting their hands on this one when it actually releases. This one just has a 2027 release date. So it should be coming out sometime next year. So it was just kind of a grand announcement that the game is actually still in development. So those that thought that it had been canceled or wasn't being made know that it is going to be coming and going to be coming soon.
Oh no, it's good. Fans have been waiting for it.
Absolutely.
You're listening to the Fun Waste of Time podcast.
So what I want to do now, guys, is I want to move it over to talking about the Xbox Games Showcase. Now, Xbox had a lot of really cool games, but for the sake of time, I think I just want to focus on maybe about 3 or 4 of them. But there was some good ones shown, man. I mean, this one, in my opinion, it probably took the cake out of all of the showcases that we saw this summer because of how excited I am about just some of the first party games that they have and some of the third party games that they partnered with in their showcase.
High praise.
Yeah, man. I mean, they did a great job. What did you think? Did you like what they showed overall?
Well, let's just say last time we had this meeting, I talked about how I got rid of my subscription. Gonna have to get it back. I'm gonna have to get it back. I was thoroughly impressed at what I saw. I'm really a fan of the direction that they're going, and I got a long way to go, but I think I'm back.
I might be right behind you because they had a lot of really good stuff that they showed.
They did.
And they started the showcase off with Gears of War E-Day. Now, as I was watching the trailer, I was like, okay, yeah, that it looks good. It's more Gears. I'm always down for more Gears. Gears, for many, many years, was my favorite all-time franchise. And they've done some really, really cool things and some awesome storytelling within the game. And as I was watching it, I was like, okay, yeah, this is just a really better looking Gears.
Right.
And I'm really excited about that. But, it just kind of looked very similar to what we've experienced previously.
It's very true. Darker, more emotional.
Then later on, I had the opportunity to watch the kind of direct, E3 direct, well, not E3 direct, but E-Day direct that they did on the game. And they showed some more of the features of the game, how the game was constructed, some of the things that they actually did to differentiate it between what they're doing here and some of the prior games.
Right.
And then I was really, really sold on what I saw. And it got me much more excited for the game as opposed to just the initial trailer that they were showing here. But man, this is going to be a 4-player co-op game. What do you think of this, JD? How did this look to you?
This to me, it more screams that Xbox desperately needs a blockbuster. They believe this is going to be exclusive to Xbox. So I mean, that's something that they're going back to, where it's just like, hey, and I think I heard the CEO say, if we're not making exclusives for Xbox, then we're just another third party, developer, publisher that has hardware. So, and I think that's what they really need. I think it's smart going back to, Emergence Day or whatever, that's going to be a win for them. And that, again, like I said, that dark emotional, I can see just from the trailers and things that we saw, after everything had ended and, why they're at that bar and just the start of it, it's going to be something that brings a lot of people back to this franchise.
Wholeheartedly agree. After Gears of War 5, I actually was still looking forward to playing the game, playing 6, but a lot of people just weren't really all that big on the protagonist that they actually had in 5. But I thought it played really well. I was really looking forward to it, but there was a little bit of fatigue with that story, and was hoping for something fresh and something new, and that's what they actually gave us when they showed us that instead of doing Gears of War 6, they were moving on to E-Day, a prequel.
That makes sense.
The first Gears of War. And one of the other games that we were excited about that we saw, and I got to say, I've never really been the biggest Halo fan, but for whatever reason, this particular Halo got me really, really excited.
I wonder why.
For a few reasons. One big reason. They actually added a third-person mode to the new Halo game that's going to be coming out. They not only added a third-person mode, but they actually added 3 new levels, prequel levels, that you can play, and the game just looked really fantastic.
Really polished.
Really fantastic.
Expect nothing less from this studio.
I was really excited about it once I saw that because, like I said, Halo's never really been my jam. I didn't play the last Halo game that they came out with. I take that back. I played it for about maybe an hour, but then I realized that it wasn't going to be for me and I put it down. But once they came out with this third-person trailer, actually, no. Once they showed us the 3 additional levels that they were adding, story-based levels they were adding to the campaign, then I was really, really interested. But once I saw that they added the third person mode, then I was all in. Then I was like, okay, I've got to play this game because look at how freaking good it looks.
No, it looks phenomenal, and I wouldn't expect anything less. Like I was saying before, I'll definitely be playing the whole entire way through the third person mode. I've done every single thing that's possibly is to do in Halo Combat Evolved. So to try it from a different view and element, I think it's going to be something that I won't be putting down for a while. And just kind of like how we're talking about the prior game Gears of War, I had got a little bit of fatigue too on Halo initially. Um, but this right here is just similar how they're going back, is what I'm looking forward to for this franchise.
And it's so funny how they're calling how the last Halo remake or remaster, I should say, was called Halo Combat Evolved. This game, this complete remake, is called Campaign Evolved. So it's easy to confuse the two.
Yeah, very easy
when people are talking about it. But my gosh, man, I got to say, when watching some of the developer interviews and just some of the things that they were talking about the difference between this game, Combat Evolved, which is the remaster, to this complete remake, it actually had me pretty excited, man. I thought, man, that's actually really cool that they took the time to do that.
Yeah.
And it was built in Unreal Engine 5 as opposed to the proprietary engine that 343 was using to make the prior Halo games, which is the previous studio that was making the game.
Bungie,
this
right?
new studio is called Halo Studios.
Okay.
343 was the prior studio that actually was making it that they disbanded.
Right.
But man, I mean, this is looking really, really good. But I'm hoping that the next full-on Halo game with a new story has this third-person mode in it, because if they do, I will absolutely be excited about playing that one too.
Oh yeah, I hope they keep it.
So the next game that I actually wanted to discuss with you guys was a game that I've actually played the second game in this franchise of, and really thought the game was very well developed. Looked freaking awesome. I played it on PC and it just looked really, really good. Played very well. The first game I thought looked kind of interesting and I wanted to eventually go back and play it, but it was a little dated. But once I played 2, I was all in. And that game it's called Resonance, a Plague Legacy. And it's based on the Plague Tale franchise. And it looks really, really good, man. The studio that made it did some upgrades to the combat of the game. And it plays like a really, really well-developed third-person action game, as you can see here. And the story of a Plague Tale 2, I actually still think about that game from time to time. Some of the experiences that I had playing that game, because I enjoyed it so much. And when I saw that and this isn't the first time this game has been announced. It was announced maybe a couple of months earlier in another showcase. I think it was in the Game Awards showcase back in December. But this is the first time that we're actually getting to see gameplay and combat from the game. And it's looking really, really good. It's a prequel to the prior games in the Plague Tale franchise.
Okay.
But man, it's looking really, really good. What do you think of this?
No, it is looking really good. I mean, some of the combat that I'm seeing is kind of more reminiscent to a God of War type style. I mean, some of the things and movements I'm seeing actually from this. I was not able to get into that franchise. I didn't really start. It looked beautiful as far as the Plague Tales, but I think when I was going to get into it, it was going to be 2. But this may be a reason to go back, even though this is a prequel. I know they're amazing looking games. So just hearing some of the stuff that you're telling me now, how some of the stuff still stuck with you with the story, has me intrigued already.
I really think you would enjoy it, man. If you went back and played a Plague Tale 2, I think that it more than likely would end up being your jam, because it's very story based.
Okay.
But the way they've done, it's a very stealth based game too, with some really good combat in it as well, which is kind of surprising for who the protagonist is and who you're protecting. But it actually ended up being a really, really good, well-developed game where the world was just very fleshed out. So the next game that I'm actually going to share with you guys from that Xbox showcase was a game that was kind of a surprise because they've already, just a couple of years ago, came out with the second game in the Senua franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And that game really wasn't received all that well. It wasn't a bad game by any means, but I think people were expecting there to be more gameplay, and they kind of felt that it ended up being more like a tech demo.
Yeah,
It really didn't have as much game play in it as it possibly should. As much combat, I should say, as maybe people thought it should have had. It was more of a technical display of how good the game looked, and how fleshed out the world was actually built in the game. But people were saying it wasn't really all that fun to play because the combat really wasn't as deep as it maybe should have been, or they felt it should have been. But they're making up for that with this third iteration in this Senua franchise. This game is just called Senua, and man, it looks like it is combat heavy. So they took all of those notes and critiques that people gave from the second game and went ahead and made this third one. It looks like it's going to be coming out fairly soon too. It's coming out in 2027. So a good maybe 3 years after the second game came out. Did you play the second Senua game, Hellblade game?
I felt the same exact way as what everyone was saying. I felt like it was a very good tech demo and a system benchmark test, and so I didn't get into the second one either, just based on that. I didn't want to waste my time. But in this right here, the trailer that I'm seeing looks very similar to the last game we just looked at, with as far as that similar combat style in itself.
Resonance.
So yeah, so I'm not. That's not a knock for the most part, So we'll see. 2 games that I have not played at all, and I'm gonna have to play them both. So
You're going to have a lot on your wish list, man.
a lot on wish list. Yep. Let's take a vacation from the family.
Hey, lock your little guy out. Hey, son, right now, daddy's busy playing these games.
Yeah.
Can you shut the door behind you?
I get out of the room. He's 6. Like, wow, you had a couple birthdays, kid. You have a beard.
Oh my gosh, daddy duty.
For real.
So the next game that I wanted to talk about is a new game, actually. This is actually a new IP. I've not heard of this prior to this showcase. I think this is the first time that it was announced. It's called Magicians, The Devil's Deal. And it's a first-person, action-based game. I thought the gameplay and the combat looked really, really interesting. The aesthetic of the game has a very Dishonored kind of style. But the gameplay looks really, really fun, man. And something unique. I don't think we've ever really seen gameplay like this. And in a minute, it's actually going to come up here so you can actually see what it looks like. What did you think of this when you saw this trailer, JD?
It was giving BioShock to me, but with wands and cards, So it looks very stylish, So I'm looking forward to seeing more of this. I mean, it has my attention. It's just the unique element of the game in itself in this approach. I'm all in for it.
Yeah, I just kind of thought the magician element of it was kind of interesting. We've not really seen gameplay like that where he's using, like you said, the wand and doing all these really cool spells and that kind of thing in this 18th century kind of world. It was
oh, that's cool.
Really different to see. But yeah, just look how it plays, man. This is actually really, really cool.
I'm in.
And I'm hoping that this is gameplay as opposed to just being kind of.
I hope so too. It looks like this.
Okay,
this
this
gameplay. Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, this game is gonna be fantastic. And right now it's just got a 2027 release date on it. But I'm hoping it doesn't get delayed because this is one that a lot of people want to get their hands on right now.
Oh yeah.
But if it does get delayed a little bit, that's okay. We want them to take their time with it and make sure that it gets a really good release, as opposed to being released and then having all kinds of technical issues and brings down the scores and affects the sales of it and that kind of thing.
Agreed.
But I just got a couple of more from the Xbox showcase that I want to show, and then we'll go ahead and we're going to close out the episode based on all of this fantastic content that we've had today. But that next game is Metro 2039. Have you played any of the Metro games? Metro 2033, and then there was Metro Exodus that came out as a sequel to that.
I tried Exodus for a little bit. I just couldn't get into it. I knew it was me. It wasn't the game. I think there was other things going on around that time as far as other games I was playing, and I just couldn't really get that deep into it. But I've always heard I own the game. I still have the game, but yeah, I don't have much about this one here.
This was one of my favorite franchises, and actually it still is. I finished the first one, and I did finish the second one. And first-person perspective is not my favorite style of gameplay, but for whatever reason, there's just something about the world that they've created with this game that just kept me coming back to it. And when I saw that they actually were making the third one, and then we saw a little bit of gameplay at a prior game show, I actually got a little excited and was very curious to see what they were going to do. Because, like I said, the apocalyptic world that they've created, the fact that most of the gameplay takes place underground because above the world is toxic, and there's a lot of nuclear waste, on the top half of the world, so you can't really be above the world for too long. But just some of the environments they created, the world building that's here, really, really had me intrigued and wanting to finish it.
You reminded me why. Because I think this is around a time where I was a big Fallout guy. And this was, or I was playing one of the Fallouts around this time, and it just seems like it was a different version of that, and I would rather be playing Fallout. So that's why. So I didn't do this. I wasn't fair to this game.
Gotcha.
That was
and it's funny. It's funny you mentioned how Fallout is your favorite apocalyptic game. Well, not your favorite, but one of my favorite games. Oh, it is. Okay, excuse me.
I think so.
Excuse me. So. Okay. But for whatever reason, I've never really been able to get into Fallout, and this game just really stuck with me. Playing the first one. Playing the second one, the gunplay felt really, really good. The world building was awesome. It is not an RPG. It is a first-person action game with a lot of really cool elements and a lot of really cool characters in the world that you fight and that you come across and that you learn. So for that reason, it kept me coming back to wanting to play. Like I said, once I found out they had a second one, I was all over that. Now that we have this third one, I'm eventually going to play that one too. And this one is more in the lines of a fear type of game.
Gotcha. Okay.
So if you liked Fear, or even if you like Fallout, then I don't think you have to play any of the previous two, but you may enjoy playing this particular one once it actually releases.
Okay.
All right. So the last game that I wanted to discuss at the Xbox Game Showcase was a game that has been announced at many of the other showcases, but they gave us a really, really deep, extensive gameplay session of how this game is going to play. And that is Fallout. Excuse me.
Fable. That is Fable.
That is Fable. So Fable actually was supposed to release this year, but they pushed it back because they needed a little more time to, actually, I don't even think it was they needed more time to work on it. They just wanted to get out of the way of GTA 6.
Yeah, like
that's going to be
else.
releasing in November.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of games were doing that, man, where they were supposedly having a 2026 release. And then because GTA announced they were going to be coming out in November, they decided to go ahead and push their game either much earlier than GTA's release or later, going into the following year. And Fable is one of those games that decided to give itself some space and push itself back to February of 2027. And everything that I've seen of this game, the combat just looks really, really awesome. The systems that they have going on in this game looks like it's going to be really in depth, and there's going to be so much for people to do and to get into.
Right.
Kind of reminds me in certain ways of how extensive the systems in Crimson Desert are.
Okay.
But just more of an RPG. Crimson Desert, I wouldn't say is an RPG. It's more of an action game with certain RPG elements. This game is more of an RPG with really nice elements of combat. What do you think of this game, JD?
Ooh, always been a big fan of this franchise here, and this is one of Xbox's biggest franchises. They need this to hit, and based on even this trailer here that I'm looking at, I mean, the humor and the fantasy is well intact from what I would want and looking for and expect in a Fable game. So, and I believe Haley Atwell, she's the villain. I mean, I didn't catch that initially when I saw this. I was like, oh, okay, so she's the main, villain in this or whatever. So that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'm ready for this.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to wait about 6 months for it, maybe just a little bit more. It comes out February the 23rd in 2027. But I think everybody who was looking forward to it this year, they're a little disappointed it was pushed back, but I think they understand why it was done.
Yeah.
And then giving it a little more room so that they can, improve anything that they need to improve to make sure that technically it is exactly where it needs to be when it releases, I think is a good thing. And people can understand that.
No, I agree.
Yeah. But guys, that was the show this episode. We talked about the games that we've been playing, and then we talked about all of these fantastic showcases that dropped just a few weeks ago from the time of this recording. And dare I say, as gaming enthusiasts, we have a lot to look forward to.
Sure do.
JD, the last question that I want to ask you, because you've experienced all three of the summer showcases, the PlayStation State of Play, the Summer Game Fest, and the Xbox Game Showcase, how would you rank them, in your opinion, from 1 to 3?
1 to 3. Okay. Xbox definitely took number 1. The PlayStation 2, and then the Summer Showcase 3.
That is similar to how I would do it. Actually, no, that's exactly what I would do. Xbox, PlayStation, Summer Game Fest.
You sure it's not because of all the long delays and the extra footage from the Summer Game Fest? We were on a delay. And that's you may be taking it out on that a little bit.
That's kind of true. What
that was my fault.
Know,
I was late, and he had to pause, and he was like,
No, it wasn't your fault. It was the stream. They actually should have done better with that stream, because I found out later as other folks were talking about the Summer Game Fest stream, there were a lot of technical issues people were having with the stream. What JD's talking about, guys, is when we did the State of Play, everything went fantastic. I think we started maybe about an hour after the
like 5:30
showcase was done.
maybe?
Yeah, but it was only an hour showcase, so we were able to start it after it had already finished. The stream was done, so we were starting from the beginning with no issues. With Summer Game Fest, it went on like 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
So we started about maybe an hour and a half after the Summer Game Fest stream had started. And I was hoping that it would have ended at least maybe at an hour or 2 hours, so we could start it from the beginning without any issues. But it was still going on when we started it an hour later. And then it would stop, and then it would jump to where they were live in the stream, and it would kind of throw off everything that we were watching prior, because we had to try to scroll all the way back to where we left off.
Audio delays too. The syncing and audio delay issues as well.
Yeah. We couldn't go all the way back to where we had left off in many instances because it was too far from where they were live. So we had to kind of wait until everything was done and watch streams. We had to watch people who were streaming it, and it was just kind of it wasn't an optical way to watch the Summer Game Fest showcase. So that may have something to do with the JD. That's actually a very good point.
Yeah.
But I got to say, Xbox brought the heat, PlayStation brought the heat, and there were still some really good games that were shown in the Summer Game Fest.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, all right, guys. I want to thank you all for listening in to us during this long episode that we've had. But if you enjoyed what you heard here today, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you're following us on your favorite podcast, follow us there. We'd love to have you continue joining us. You all take care, and you'll be hearing from us soon. All right.
Bye.